Hi, my name is Mandy, and today we are doing like the biggest book haul ever. At least in the history of my channel. As you probably can tell from the title of this video, this is a combination Black Friday / Christmas / me buying in December book haul. It's ginormous. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the thumbnail. Hopefully it looks alright. I mean, you're watching this in the future from where I am, and I've obviously created the thumbnail, so keep our fingers crossed that it goes well. I have split up the books into a semi-order. So first up, I won't talk a lot about it because I've already talked a lot about this book on my channel. I just forgot to mention it in my last haul video, and that is Supernova by Marissa Meyer. I bought this at the beginning of November. The last book in the Renegade series. I'm sure you've never heard me talk about this one before. Now we're going to be talking about a thrift books order that I made in the middle of the month. I had a free book I had earned through rewards, and my in-laws always just send money for Christmas. They don't send any presents, so I had some money that I wanted to buy books with. The first two books that I got are in a series. We have Truth Witch and Wind Witch, both by Susan Dennard. I don't know much about these books. They have been sticking out to me for a little while. I actually have just barely started reading Truth Witch. So all I can really tell you about is this is a world where you have many different types of witches, and the main girl is a truth witch. Truth witches can tell when people are lying. And the main character is the first truth witch in over 100 years. And that's all I know from the first few chapters. But I did recently have a friend on Instagram talk about how it was one of her new favorite series, which has made me extra excited to check this one out. The next book I got is Black Hearts by Nicole Casterman. I don't know much about this one either, but I know that it's a Blackbeard retelling, and pirates are fascinating, so I thought that I would check out this new look at Blackbeard. I don't know if it's a fantasy or if it's just like a historical retelling. Time will tell. The next book that I got was Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I also know nothing about this one, but Alexandra Bracken is one of the authors that I want to check out this year in my tentative TBR for the year video. I'll link that down below. I mentioned that I wanted to try her out because she was all over BookTube when I first started watching, and ever since that I have just felt this desire to read her books. And then another one I know nothing about. This is gonna get repetitive. We have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. As far as the inside cover tells me, this is a world where this crazy empire has hold and no one defies them. It's bad juju if you defy them. And when the main girl's brother is arrested for treason, she has to make the decision of whether or not she wants to stay in the shadows or to join the rebellion. We're going to move on to my Black Friday book outlet order. As I'm looking at these, I was thinking, wow, I did not get as many books on book outlet as I normally do. And then I remembered that I also bought 3 or 4 books for Evie, my daughter, and I guess I could have gotten more books for me, but she's finally starting to like books, and it makes me excited. Okay, first up, this book is a repurchase for me, and that book is Old Magic by Marianne Curley. This is a book that I read in middle school, and I bought a copy in middle school, but it was a mass market paperback, and if I tried reading it one more time, it would fall apart. This was one of my favorite books in middle school. I really enjoyed it. It's about a girl named Kate who is sort of a witch. It's been a few years since I've read this, so witches don't quite work the same way that we would think that they are. But, you know, she's kind of the weirdo in town. She doesn't really have very many friends because everyone, like I said, just thinks she's weird. And then this new guy moves to town. His name is Jared. And as soon as he moves to town, she notices that there's something different about him. It's not quite the tale as old as time, this guy is hot type of noticing. The noticing comes because Jared is cursed. She can tell it, and together They have to work to try and figure out why he's cursed and how to break his curse. The next book I got was The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is a Scrooge retelling, and I'd heard a lot about it on BookTube, so I thought that I would try it, especially with Christmas and the holidays being so near. This book is about a girl named, you guessed it, Holly Chase, who was a Scrooge. The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future visited her and implored her to change, only she didn't. And just as the ghost of Christmas future tells, she dies. And when she dies, she actually becomes the ghost of Christmas past. She has been the ghost of Christmas past for 5 years during the course of this book, and this new year, this is the first time that a Scrooge has been picked who is her own age. At least the age she was when she died. And things feel different, and she tries to figure out what is different about this year. Next up, we have A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigitte Kammerer. This is one that I already read this year, and I honestly don't know why I bought it. I mean, I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if I needed to have my own copy, but somehow, what I normally do when I order from Book Outlet is I will browse through their selection and just add everything into my cart that I want. And then I have to go through and delete a million things because I can't afford to buy $200 worth of books, even books as cheap as Book Outlet books. And this one just kind of missed my scourging as I took things out. I don't know why. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. You have the prince who is cursed to relive the fall of his 18th year over and over and over again until something changes. Through some accidental events. After that, I bought Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is the first in the Arc of the Scythe trilogy. In this world, this futuristic dystopian world, death has been conquered, and to avoid overpopulation, the Scythes kill old people, I think. Our 2 main characters are chosen to be Scythe's apprentices, which they don't really want to do, and I'm assuming that after that they discover the truth about their world. I mean, that's what happens in these dystopian books, right? Then we have The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. I know nothing about this one either. This one, from what I can tell, is an urban fantasy, which I feel like there should be more urban fantasies out there, and I'm excited to check out a magic world taking place within our own. Then I got Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. This is about 2 friends who were separated when they were children because the guy was actually kidnapped by his father. And it's 10 years later, and they finally found him and brought him back to his mother. He had no idea what had happened, and they learned to heal and come close together, I think. You guys know that I'm always looking for new contemporaries to read, so yeah. Next up, we have I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu. I've heard good things about Maureen Gu's contemporaries, and so I wanted to try one of them. From what I know, this is about a girl who always has to have a plan, and when she finally decides that she's interested in dating, she has to make a plan for it. I don't really know much more than that, but it sounds adorable, and cuteness can only follow. I swear this pile is not getting any smaller. Then I have Just Friends by Tiffany Pittick. This book is a contemporary about 2 people who had never known each other before, and then they're paired together for a group project where they're supposed to talk about what happened in their summer, and just kind of as a joke, they choose to talk about what they did together and act like they've been best friends their whole lives and that they've just never really told anyone about it, and everybody believes that they are best friends. So they start to spend time together, and maybe romance will follow. Then I got Kissing Max Holden by Katie Upperman. I've already read this one and talk about it in my mid-December wrap-up. If you want to hear my thoughts on this one, feel free to check that video out. I'll link it down below. This is basically about a girl whose neighbor / childhood best friend shows up in her room, gives her a kiss, and then kisses keep following. And next up, by the same author, we have The Impossibility of Us. This book is about a girl who has recently lost her brother, who was a soldier over in Afghanistan. Her family is trying to heal, and then she meets a guy, and this guy is wonderful and great, and she starts falling for him. The only problem is that he is Afghani, and her parents are not okay with that. That was the last of the book outlet books. We're coming to an end. We almost got this. Now we're gonna go with the books that I got specifically for Christmas, not books that I bought with Christmas money. The first two books that I have are in a series. We have Dorothy Must Die and The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page. You have a girl who is from Kansas, and tornadoes come, and she ends up in Oz. She gets to Oz, and Oz is not like she's always heard it. She gets there, and her mission is to kill Dorothy. Dorothy is back, but Dorothy's gone evil, and everyone who in the original story seems to be evil might not be evil, and everyone who seems to be good in the original story might actually be bad. So I am excited to check out this series. They were Christmas presents from my husband. Yay. And then I got Stain by A.G. Howard. I read this book a couple months ago and really enjoyed it. This is a Princess and the Pea retelling, which I was really interested by when I first read it. I was very impressed overall with the book. If you do decide to read it, I will warn you that the beginning is a little slow, but once you push past that beginning, it gets really good. And then would it be Christmas if you didn't get something Harry Potter related? I received the Hogwarts Library set. We've got these really pretty copies of the extra books that J.K. Rowling has put out. We have Quidditch Through the Ages, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and The Tales of Beedle the Bard. I have already read all three of these books. I didn't have my own copies, aside from I did have the original copy of The Tales of Beedle the Bard that came out when she first released them. So I'm excited to have these nice pretty copies, and I'm excited to read them again because it's been a few years. And then also Harry Potter, I got the illustrated version of The Tales of Beedle the Bard. We got some giant writing here and some cool illustrations. Someday I will read these stories to Evie while she gets to look at the pictures. So now I apparently have 3 copies of The Tales of Beedle the Bard. Okay, we're in the home stretch. There are 3 books left. Are you ready for this? First up, I bought myself Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard. This is a short story collection. It's set in the world of Red Queen. It has some 5 novellas, but also some bits of history from the world. Next up, I got The Anatomical Shape of a Heart by Jen Bennett. I don't know what this one is about, but it was $3 on Amazon. As of the recording of this video, you can get this book, paperback copy, for $3. Why not? I enjoyed an earlier book that I read by Jen Bennett, and I bought another one a couple months ago that I still need to read. And then this last one is one that I recently read this month. I haven't filmed the wrap-up for this one yet, so stay tuned for my thoughts on it, but I really did enjoy it, and I wanted my own copy. And that is Letters to the Lost by Brigitte Kemmerer. This is about a girl who has recently lost her mother. When her mother was alive, they would write each other letters, and so with her mother gone, she leaves letters on her grave. Now Declan has community service, and one of the things he has to do is to mow the cemetery lawns, and part of that is they have to take any items that are left on graves away because they don't want to mess up the mowers. So he picks up one of Juliet's letters, sees it, and then writes a little something back to her. So they start writing back and forth and kind of start a pen pal relationship. That's all I'll say for now, but it was really cute and I enjoyed it. I'll tell you more about my thoughts in the future. Thank you for sticking with me for the longest book haul ever. What did you guys get for Christmas? Have you read any of these books? Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to click subscribe. You can also follow me on my social media, which I will link down below. I hope you're having a great bookish day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!